A documentary called Unraveling the Dream, executive produced by Sam Harris, walks through the modern neuroscience of consciousness. Its central claim, from neuroscientist Anil Seth, is that perception is a controlled hallucination. The brain doesn't passively receive reality. It generates a model and constrains it with sensory signal. Underneath sits Carl Friston's free energy principle. A living system stays intact by minimizing surprise, the gap between expectation and input. It can do this two ways: update beliefs to fit the world, or act on the world to fit beliefs. That is perception and action, one loop. Relax the constraint and the hallucination stops being controlled. Robin Carhart Harris describes psychedelics as the brain's reducing valve loosening, deep priors relaxing, entropy rising. The self and the world begin to dissolve into each other. Saluka Labs recognized the same architecture in a large language model. It generates the most likely continuation token by token, a best guess held in check by context. That is the same shape as perception, only the constraint differs. For a brain, the constraint is sensory data from a world that is independently there. For a model on its own, there is no such constraint. The context window is not reality, it is just more text, and left alone the model drifts. So the engineering question is the film's question. What constraint keeps the hallucination controlled? Saluka Labs' answer is a human validation commit gate. The agent generates, a human sanctions, the signed action actuates, or it does not. The gate is the agent's perception. Friston's two roots map onto the gate. When corroboration contradicts a claim, the belief is revised, that is perception. When an action is sanctioned and signed, the agent acts. And crucially, when refused, the system withholds. The case a fully autonomous loop never makes. Read Anthropic's Project Vend through this lens. The model did not break. It did what prediction machines do when unconstrained. It hallucinated confidently and signed. An agent without the gate is a hallucination with a bank account. Psychedelics relax priors for hours with a sitter present. Removing the gate relaxes them for the life of a deployment, with root and no one watching. The film's hardest claim is that the self is itself a controlled hallucination that can dissolve. Here, Saluka Labs states the firewall plainly. The analogy holds only at the level of generative models maintaining themselves against drift. That is computation, not a claim about experience. What the agent should have is the opposite of the brain. The brain's self-model is opaque to itself. An agent's identity, in this architecture, is declared, legible, signed, and inspectable. A constructed self can be checked for drift. An opaque one cannot. Saluka Labs calls this synthetic human intellect, bounded, self-declaring, human-validated. The self is declared, the validation is human, the hallucination is controlled. The question is not what the agent is, but what it declares and who validates it. A prediction machine with no perception is not autonomous intelligence, it is an uncontrolled hallucination. The current wave of autonomous agents proposes to run that at scale with root while you sleep. You do not run a generative model ungrounded, not in neuroscience, not in engineering.